Okay, go.
Are we okay?
Yep.
Welcome everyone to Public Works Committee meeting. If we aren't finished in an hour, Mr. Bruno will take over chairing the meeting. He's graciously accepted as deputy. What item do you want to start with here, Kevin?
I will start with solid waste and recycling.
Okay, we're on solid waste and recycling, and our first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Cheryl, entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Mr. Bruno, Mr. Merlino on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed,
We have a,
or no, abstain. Now that I don't oppose it, I abstain from it. Sorry.
we have an abstention. Solid waste.
Yep.
First action item, is, apply for a grant. The rationale, apply for, if received, execute a grant in New York State DEC for household hazardous waste, 50% in reimbursement. Cheryl, entertain a motion to bring this forward for consideration. Just a moment.
We're not even gonna bring this to the floor. So last year, I didn't realize I'd done it until I'd gone back and researched my resolutions from last year. We had already done this for a 5-year period, so we're good through 2027. So this resolution
Okay.
is not needed.
It's unnecessary.
Yep.
All right, then let's move on to, discussion items.
So I'll turn it over to Scott. The two discussions that he has is the household hazardous waste and the working group update.
Yeah, so we, household hazardous waste, May 11th, H12 at the Queensbury Highway Garage. We've pushed out the registration link. We have a flyer now. I was gonna just ask if there's the best way to get this out to the towns. Is there a preferred approach for me to get that information out there?
Yeah, Don Lehman has put it out on the county's website, but I'm not sure if all the towns with their own Facebook pages or whatever else grab it off of there. They certainly can, or Scott can actually email everybody, all the town supervisors, so they're all aware of it. And then you can put the flyer up in your own town offices.
Send it my way. I'll get it up on our site.
Okay.
Like, there's a couple of Facebook pages that people refer to, so absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, you might, if you're going to do that, you might want to send it to town clerks also. No.
And then next up, so we had our first working group meeting to discuss kind of the feasibility of a county compost facility as well as a centralized recycling facility. So first meeting, we kind of had a group together. One of the action items was to start to draft together a scope of work for a centralized recycling facility. So we've been kind of working on that. I shared something with Kevin, so we'll hopefully get that out to the group. Additionally, just as part of my education and research, I'm reaching out to communities like Bethlehem and Ulster who have county compost facilities. So I'm connecting with folks who are currently, utilizing some of the recommendations that came forth in the organics management plan. So that's kind of where we're at with the working group. We're meeting again April 11th at 2 p.m. So I think we're moving along and hopefully putting some numbers together. And
Good to have you at
Yeah.
the meeting. I'm glad to hear that you've already met with the working group, and we have a couple of supervisors on that working group. Mr. Strauss is
Correct.
Supervisor Strauss, Supervisor Molino, and Supervisor Etu, and Supervisor Strainer said he would be more than willing to come to listen, put his 2 cents in.
Oh, I think that's terrific. I think that's terrific. Okay, next item.
There for you, Kevin. That's it for solid waste and recycling.
I have a question.
Uh,
The location of this, where are we thinking?
For which facility, a recycling facility and or the composting facility?
Well, I'm saying, I was thinking more of the composting.
The composting facility, we were looking at two locations as part of the organic management plan. One of those was, correct me if I'm wrong, the Simsbury or up Queensbury Avenue. Yeah, over in that area. It's in the industrial area park. And then the other one would be our Tony Pit, which is up in Warrensburg.
The only reason I bring that up is, with the composting, I know, like Kingsbury, has a little plant out there. I think it was 196. They were doing the some sort of composting, but I know there is a smell that's generated with it, and they had some problems out there. So I'm thinking if we pick a location, Queensbury Avenue is right up against, all the apartments over there. But I'm just thinking of a location that we, have to worry about, and especially if we're gonna be applying more food to the product. Just the concerns of, of air.
Sure.
That would help in seeker.
Yeah, no site has been, selected, and I'm sure there's a
Not yet.
process we'll have to
Good
follow.
consideration.
If and when we get to that point, Mr. McGowan, there's a process we'll have to follow in terms of, where best, if we decide to do this, where best to do it. And that's it. Thank you. Next item.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Going to
Thank
Parks
you for
and
being
going to
here.
Parks and Rec next.
Okay, we're on to Parks and Recreation. Does that bring Dean forward?
That brings Dean forward. Yep.
Okay, Dean, good to see you.
Hi, I just got one item, Andrew.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. All right. First item, yep, gotcha. First, we request to apply for a grant through Warren County Soil and Water, for up to $1,000 through the Community Conservation Program. Once again, serves this, similar reasons. It is for, advertising and supplies for our Springsing event that is coming up. And, also it'll help cover some of the riparian perennial plants that take place, that we have on the grounds that
Okay,
was.
let's bring this forward. Mr. Bruno, Mr. McGowan on the second. Any discussion on applying for the grant? There being none, we're ready for the question then. All those in favor of making this application signify by saying aye.
All right,
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. And next item,
Next, in for information discussion, we have Andrew Presetti here from Adirondack Lamp. He has a request for us. In the past, he does a paint and sip program with his constituents at the facility, and he is looking to bring on a vendor to actually enhance the program or take a component of it over. So
Yes, good morning. So as Dean mentioned, I operate Adirondack Safari at the fairgrounds. It's my 4th season as operator there. And we've done it without any issues. Typically it's just our guests use their own alcohol. We don't provide any alcohol. They have their consumption and we haven't any issues. I'm looking to host an event, a one-time event to kind of draw some extra people up. It's actually a singles night is what we're looking to do, just to utilize what's already there. And just for that window of using our paint and sip time frame, maybe like a 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, have Adirondack Winery come and just provide, a couple glasses to those participating for the event. So, as mentioned, I'm not selling the alcohol. It's through Adirondack Winery and all of their permitting and licensing and all that. So it's just basically just making sure I'm
our existing lease doesn't speak to this.
No, it does not.
correct.
So similar to what we just brought to committee last month for the Warrensburg Bike Rally. That's a little bit different because that's over several days. Andrew's only doing this one day, and as he said, between like the hours of 3 and 5. I think we would still do it through a facilities use permit, but based on our last discussions with the county attorney's office, they required a little bit more with insurance, and Adirondack Winery would have to provide their liquor license, off-site liquor license, because they can't use the one that they just have for their own facility. It has to be an offset liquor license that they would provide us before the event took place.
Okay, and do you need some action on this?
I don't, we can do
Okay,
it.
so
to
it's for
them.
informational
Yep.
purpose.
Yes.
Maybe I should say this, is there anyone that has any particular heartache over?
I don't.
Okay, very good. Next item. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
You're
Thanks,
on-
Andrew. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Next.
Okay, yep, next item, just you all received in your packet the poster Spring Zing. I will come back at you in April, just before the event itself. To remind you about that, but, great volunteer, free program for the public that'll be coming up. Maple in April took place at, Up Yonder Farm. It was well attended. We had about 130 people, generated a little over $1,000. It was going great. All the seatings were great throughout the day until that last one when the weather crept in. But it was a great turnout. And actually, I'll digress. Thank you for Don for putting out a little advertisement, and actually Rick Landry from the staff there had an opportunity to be on Channel 10, and it actually worked out great. There were individuals that actually came out looking for Rick, the guy from the commercial, but people do travel and it was well received. So.
Last item we have on there is the RFP for the rail work. As you all know, we put out a bid for a term agreement for rail work similar to our heavy highway work. We received 3 bids. One of the bids was non-responsive because they didn't provide all the requirements, and the other 2 bids were good bids. We would recommending, and you'd already did it at the board meeting. We recommended to the lowest responsive bidders, plural, so that we could use them as term agreement when needed to fix some of the repairs on the track. So I was just giving you an update on that, and I just wanted to jump back real quick to Spring Zing, similar to what Scott Royal had for the household hazardous waste. I would have Dean send this to all the towns so you can advertise for our Spring Zing, as well as Don Lehman will have it up on the website and the Facebook page for the county.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. Next up.
Next up is DPW Regular Public Works. The first item we have on there is to amend the budget, and this is to amend the budget for the additional consolidated highway improvement program, extreme winter recovery, and pave our potholes program. This is just a kind of a clerical fix. Later in the year, we typically find out how much they gave us for kind of the EWR and some of those. They don't always give us to us in the original kind of letter from DOT. So this is just doing that administrative to put that funding in that project that we received actually beyond what they provided us in the original letter.
Moved by Mr. Bruno, second. Mr. Strainer on the second. Any discussion? Mr. McGowan?
Yeah, thank you. Kevin, Country Club Road there, B.
Yeah, it's, so
What-
I apologize. I should have talked to that a little bit more. So next month, I will, once our bids are received from our contractors for all our road projects, next month I'll come back and take the money that I have under county road fund, which is I'll give you an example, the 4 million that we received in the budget for 2024 for road projects was put in the last project from 2023. It's just a placeholder. When I come back next month, we will take that money out of that project and place it in every other project based on the bids that we received. So I use Country Club Road as not, we're doing more work for Country Club Road. It's just a project that's a placeholder to hold the money until I move it to all the projects that we have. Understand or
Yeah.
All right. Next.
next item we have on there? Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. All right, we're ready for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. Next up.
next item we have on there is a request for a new contract, and this goes to that, what I just discussed, the road construction project contracts. And I say plural contracts because it's not typically one. We break them up in certain areas, so it may be several contractors. And I will have all that information as the tab sheets before the board meeting, but this would be to award the lowest responsive bidders for those projects.
All right. We can bring this forward. Mr. Bruno, second. Mr. Merlino, thank you, Gene. Any discussion? It's basically what's your estimate of the scope of this?
Almost $9 million worth of road projects this summer, including the one we just received bids on already, which was the Main Street project up in Johnsburg.
All right then.
So this is, excuse me, this is separate from the quote emergency work.
Correct. I'm gonna discuss that next.
Okay. Thank you.
Did we have a motion in a second? We do. Are we ready for the question then? All those in favor of this new contract signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
The next item on there for new business items is a request to establish a capital project. That capital project would be H 430, and this is for the culvert repairs, and this is to place that bond money of $4,100,000 into that project.
Chair, if there a motion bringing this forward for consideration, we have the motion, second. We have a second. Mr. Bean on the motion and Mr. Bruno on the second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Do we have a list of these culverts yet?
Yes, we do have a list. I actually had the list last month, but I would certainly provide you that list, but it was a culvert on Trout Lake, 2 culverts on County Route 11, 1 culvert on Call Street, and 1 on Palisades Road.
Yeah, could you forward
I
those to
certainly
me,
can.
please?
Any other questions for the Mr. Hager? Well, I mean, it looks like everything's moving forward. Emergency work's unfortunate, but what happens? All right, then, we're ready for the questions. All those in favor of establishing a capital project signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Next item.
So next item is under discussion items, and it's just to what we've been talking about, the emergency projects that we had for all the culverts. As of right now, all culverts are complete except for the one up on County Route 26 Palisades Road. And that's under design right now. That one needs a little bit more than what the other ones did. So we're going through a bidding process. Typically, what we will do with that one is we're looking at a 3-sided box culvert. We will put that box culvert out to bid before the project, and then have a contractor come in and install it. So that's the last project, but we just opened up as of last Friday, County Route 11, up in Bolton with two emergency culvert repairs that were done up there.
And if you haven't seen the pictures on that, that was an unbelievable washout. I mean, it was, how deep was that culvert?
One of them was 18 feet, the other one was 16.5 feet.
Imagine how deep that culvert was and how big a hole had to be constructed to even, and opened up to even begin the work. It was incredible, really. And,
And they say the storms aren't gonna get any better.
I can tell you, people are happy, are very happy that's open again. I can tell you, you really realize the importance of some of these roads because the, northern detour was, Alderbrook Road and the southern detour was, Diamond Point Road. So that's a big swath. Anything else, Kevin?
The last item we had on there, and I talked to it earlier, is the 2024 construction projects. We will be receiving bids on those. We had to push it out. There was a couple questions, so we pushed it out by 1 week, but we should have those for the April board meeting.
Very, very good.
That's it.
Very good. Anything else to come before the committee? Anybody from the audience? There being none? We have a motion from Mr. Bruno to adjourn. Mr. Bean to second. All in favor?